Yes, straight out of the gate, we know what you're thinking. Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso? As in the same moustache-wielding Ted Lasso who led the famous AFC Richmond in the hit series of the same name. Now, what on earth could one of the best rugby coaches in the world, and arguably the greatest Super Rugby coach of all time, have in common with a fictional character played by Jason Sudeikis? Stick around and we'll explain that all in a moment. Scott "Razor" Robertson has been thrust into the hot seat of All Black Rugby in 2024, and along the way he's had to make some difficult decisions, stick to his guns, and on the odd occasion admit where he's gone wrong. Within that time, he's displayed his coaching philosophy and style that has been such a massive part of his success throughout the years, coaching the Baby Blacks and the Crusaders. Like the earlier mentioned Ted Lasso, Razor's philosophy and approach is at the forefront of everything his teams do and is the focal point of getting the best out of his players. So stay tuned as we take a look at the similarities between the two, the coaching style of both men, and the unexpected inspiration drawn from the sitcom. But before we get underway with that, we ask that you give this video a like, stick around to the end to give your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Now, without further ado, let's get back to the video. Yes, one is a fictional character in a comedic show and the other is a real-life person dealing with real-life situations, but that doesn't mean they have nothing in common. Sure, it's safe to say that Ted Lasso is certainly the more easygoing of the two. Scott Robertson, on the other hand, has a certain intensity about him, which is accentuated by his piercing eyes and wild blonde hair. But be that as it may, he certainly has a humorous side to him as well. Scott Robertson has shown over the years to be quite the personality, hitting break dances after his teams win titles, and is often seen joking with media personnel when interviewed. For both men, their larger-than-life personas spill over into their coaching styles, and there's definitely a common thread in the fact both are a people's person, able to engage with their players and have conversations that need discussing. Like Ted Lasso, Razor is a very likeable character, both by the media and in his dressing room, and he uses this to his advantage to get the best out of his men. Sure, 2024 hasn't been plain sailing for the All Blacks head coach, and there have been some bumps in the road, but it's apparent for all to see that he is building something special, and like it or not, these transitional phases don't happen overnight. In the words of Ted Lasso, who's the happiest animal in the world? Can you guess what the answer is to his question? Comment down below. Well, according to Ted, the happiest animal in the world is a goldfish, and he encourages his players to be a goldfish. Why, you may ask? Well, it's because a goldfish only has a 10-second memory. The moral of this message is that you should let things go and move on. On many occasions this year, Scott Robertson has at times had to be a goldfish and encourage his players to do the same, to let things go and move past them. Whether this has been some of the tough losses they've had to deal with or strife within the coaching staff following Leon McDonald's exit, the All Blacks have had to let things go to improve, and improve they have. Being the All Blacks coach is anything but a comfortable experience. You are harshly judged on every move you make, and even just one loss is enough to have the public in a frenzy. Yet Scott Robertson has gladly taken on the role despite this. In the wise words of the uber-positive Ted Lasso, taking on a challenge is a lot like riding a horse. If you're comfortable while you're doing it, you're probably doing it wrong. No words could ring truer to Razor's experience so far. It has no doubt been a challenge, and at times an uncomfortable one, but he has certainly embraced it all in the pursuit of glory.
Belief doesn't just happen because you hang something up on a wall, all right? Comes from in here, you know, and up here, down here.
So how we stepped up and we learned and grew, and a core group of guys that cared deeply about the jersey got to understand the game and who we are and really cement our DNA.
Both display a selfless approach to their teams, putting their egos aside in the hope of getting the best out of their players, especially the younger statesmen in the side. We've seen Scott Robertson certainly do that this season, as he's brought the very best out of the 2024 World Rugby Breakthrough Player of the Year, Wallace Satiti, One thing that Razor certainly brings, much like Ted Lasso, is energy.
He's brought a lot of energy. He's got a particular style of how he wants to play the game.
In any successful team, there exists some big personalities, and it can be tough at times to keep their egos in check. Often these players thrive on the bravado that they have, and it's a big part in why they succeed at the top level, but it does need to be managed. Ted Lasso had his work cut out for him when a young, talented Jack Grealish lookalike from Manchester was introduced to him. Who was that player? Well, it was none other than the cocky Jamie Tart. Jamie gave Ted the odd heartache, especially initially, but through Ted's people skills and positive reinforcement, he was able to get the best out of Jamie, as well as be a major influence in his attitude changing for the better. Following the media frenzy between Rico Ioane and Ireland's Johnny Sexton after last year's World Cup quarter-final, Razor has had to reel in his players' attitudes before they get out of hand. But what he does so well is that he allows them to express that bravado that makes them into the players they are, while still keeping their humanity in check through the positive reinforcement he provides them with. Along with Rico, Scott has a certain try-scoring phenomenon, making waves either on the wing or from the full-back position, and that is the young and supremely talented Will Jordan. It would be easy for Jordan's ego to get the better of him, considering the success he's achieved from such a young age. However, Robertson has been there to mentor the young fullback from his early days at the Crusaders and now is one of the main men for the All Blacks, ensuring that he stays grounded and keeps producing the goods. With almost 40 tries to his name, do you think he will break the all-time try-scoring record? Let us know down below. By leaving his ego at the door and instilling the confidence in his players by highlighting their strengths, Scott Robertson has begun to get the best out of his players, displaying belief in them, strong leadership, and embracing failure when it presents itself. In this regard, he has definitely taken a page out of Ted Lasso's book, or depending on who you ask, considering the amount of time that Razor has been doing this for, perhaps Ted took a page out of Scott's. One thing is for sure, his players love him, they believe in the direction he wants to take them, and with one more wise remark from everyone's favourite coach from Kansas, I do love a locker room, it smells like potential. Well, guess what? So does this All Black side. We hope you've enjoyed our take on both Ted Lasso and Razor Robertson, and now it's time for you to let us know your thoughts down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date with all the content we've got coming your way. Until next time, thanks for watching.